welcome one and all, and happy 2009, and welcome to your Keene Sport Chamber Zone, the show that's all about your Keene Sport Chamber of Commerce and this great community of Keene Sport. She is my good friend and co-host and lawyer, attorney extraordinaire, Laura Still, with the law firm of Hunter, Smith & Davis. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well. And likewise, he is my good friend, co-host, and PR person extraordinaire, Bob Fegans with the Keene Sport Chamber of Commerce. It's a new year?
Yes, it is.
What does that mean?
Well, it could mean that my Dallas Cowboys are getting ready to make a Super Bowl run. But we know better than that. It means they're back home sitting on the sofa watching the playoffs yet again.
Normally what I would say to that is, well, that's until they lose the wild card game. But they didn't even make it that far. They didn't get to the
wild card game. We'd be happy for that.
No, they scored 6 points. All of 6 points in that final game. But no, the beginning of 2009 means something completely different than that.
It means that, well, you and I are going to try to be nice to each other, but that will last all of 15 minutes.
That resolution never lasts. No.
What could it mean, Laura?
Well, it means it's time for a new season of the Keene Sport Chamber Zone, right? I mean, isn't that what you're talking about?
I'm sure everyone had that thought on their mind when the new year came in on January 1st.
It's what I think about. Oh, wait, I know what it means. I know what it means. January 1st. That means it's the countdown, the daily countdown to the Keene Sport Chamber's 62nd annual dinner. Is that what it is?
Absolutely, except I'm in hourly mode.
Aren't you
because
always?
Because we're just a few thousand hours away.
I mean, aren't you always in hourly mode, though?
Oh,
you don't
absolutely.
think of it in days.
No, I don't. I think of an hour. But even in June, I'm thinking in hours.
February 7th, 2009, you'll be ready with the hours.
February 6th, 2009. February 7th. That's right. I'm thinking about February 7th.
Levitt's heart. He's already flustered, and we're not even a week out.
But speaking of the event, it's going to be right here at the Meadowview Marriott Conference Resort and Convention Center. We're always happy to come back here. Lots of great news and developments occurring here at Meadowview, not the least of which is the $30 million expansion and renovation, both on the hotel side and the new executive conference wing. This is great news for Keene Sport because it means millions of new revenue dollars coming into the city because of all that's happening here at Meadowview. We're going to chat with Mark Eversole, who's the Assistant General Manager here at Meadowview, to share all of that great news with us.
And as we've already alluded to, Meadowview is the host of what? Well, the Keene Sport Chamber's 62nd annual dinner, which is taking place on Friday, February the 6th. And it's going to be a grand evening, and as always, we have to preview that event for you. And we are so pleased to have Jack Dempsey on our show, who is the General Manager for WJHL News Channel 11. Jack is in his 10th year chairing the committee for the 62nd annual dinner. So he's going to talk to us all about the war stories involved with that and what we can look forward to this year's annual dinner.
I'm sure he's got lots of stories. We need to ask Jack what it's been like 10 years working with him.
This is a family-rated show.
I'm sure he'll have nothing but
I don't think we
can
do that. I don't think we can do that.
But we're also going to be talking with one of our favorite segments, speaking of the annual dinner in this show, Chef Rob Seguenza, who's the executive chef here at Meadowview. One of the great things about your Keene Sport Chamber annual dinner is always the great meal that is served. And the chef here at Meadowview is going to be preparing that meal for us on our show today. So we can't wait to run through the rest of the show so we can go to the Meadows Restaurant and taste what you'll be enjoying at your Keene Sport Chamber annual dinner.
I don't know what you mean about run through the rest of the show. You're doing all the interviews. I'm going
straight
to Chef Rob, and you can just come over when you're done.
Well, save me a piece of salad at least.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. As you can tell, we've got a whole lot to get to, and we've got some wonderful things to preview for you. But before we can get to all of that, we need to update you about what's going on in your Keene Sport area. So here are the latest chamber news and highlights.
Your Keene Sport Chamber will hold its first after hours for the year Thursday, January 15th at 5:30 p.m. at Johnny Brusco's.
And your Keene Sport Chamber will host its annual legislative breakfast on Friday, January 30th at 7:30 a.m. right here at the Meadowview Marriott Conference Resort and Convention Center. This is a great opportunity for you to meet and talk with your state legislators and hear a preview of the upcoming legislative session. Cost is only $25 per person, and tickets can be purchased by calling your Keene Sport Chamber at 392-8800.
And your next Keene Sport Chamber 4th Friday breakfast is set for Friday, January 23rd at 7:15 a.m. right here at the Meadowview Marriott Conference Resort and Convention Center. We're just going to spend all of 2009 out here, aren't we? The event is
free. It usually means free food. I'm all about that.
And provides a great opportunity to network with other Keene Sport Chamber business professionals and civic leaders. Program sponsor for January will be AT&T. To RSVP, call your Keene Sport Chamber at 392-8800.
And the final news highlight is, drum roll please, it's Keene Sport's social event of the year and Bob's personal winter bash. Yes, it's your Keene Sport Chamber 62nd annual dinner. set to be held Friday, February 6th, right here at the Meadowview Marriott Conference Resort and Convention Center. The reception begins at 6 p.m. with the dinner and fabulous program beginning at 7 p.m. The Beatles will be coming to Kingsport. Yes, the global music sensations, the Fab Four, will entertain you that night with its amazing and incredible tribute to the Beatles. Your Kingsport Chamber 62nd Annual Dinner is hosted by WJHL News Channel 11. Title sponsor is Eastman Chemical Company. Holston Valley Medical Center serves as entertainment sponsor. Bristol Motor Speedway serves as the associate sponsor. Eastman Credit Union serves as the concert hall and stage sponsor. And Oak Hill Memorial Park Funerals and Cremations is the reception sponsor. Kingsport's social event of the year promises once again to be a fun and entertaining evening, so don't miss it. To join the list of companies sponsoring the event or to purchase tickets, which are only $70, call your Kingsport Chamber today at 392-8800.
Well, as we mentioned on your last Kingsport Chamber Zone, there's a lot of buzz and excitement in Kingsport over the $30 million expansion and renovation right here at the Meadowview Marriott Conference Resort and Convention Center. This great news for Kingsport truly is an investment in the community's future, as millions of new revenue dollars will be generated for the city once the expansion is complete.
And here to tell us all about that and the great news that it does in fact mean for Kingsport is Mark Eversole, who is the Assistant General Manager here at the Meadowview Marriott Conference Resort and Convention Center. Mark, we're so glad that you're on the show.
Laura, I wouldn't miss it for the world. I'm so glad to be here today.
Now, some of you all may not know Mark by name, but undoubtedly you know him by his face and probably more likely by his handshake, because Mark does epitomize hospitality. If you set foot in Meadowview, you have undoubtedly grab the hand of Mark Eversole.
You're very kind to say that, Laura.
Well, it's what you do. You're always standing right there at the doors greeting everybody.
That's called the spirit to serve.
Unless it's me, I've felt the hand of Mark Eversole shoving me out the door, so it depends on how you act here, is how you're greeted by Mark.
He's never been anything but kind to me.
That's true, yes.
But Mark, as Bob mentioned, there's a very exciting expansion going on here at Meadowview, a $30 million expansion and renovation. And it's going on in two parts. So let's talk about the hotel side first.
Certainly, Laura. The hotel is underway. We started back in July. It's 2 wings. It's 110 additional rooms, so we're going to come to a total of 305. Currently, we're ahead of schedule. The rain has not affected us whatsoever. The construction is called an infinity structure, and it is being done in segments. We're on the 3rd floor on the north wing. We're on the 2nd floor, concrete poured, on the south wing. And don't forget, we're getting ready to start our site work on our indoor swimming pool and fitness center. So that's coming right along.
On location shot for the Kingsport Chamber Zone.
We've got several taping shows planned out here in the future.
I can see you in the connector right now with the sun shining down on you. Indeed.
Yeah, we certainly want to make sure we get a shot of that. So. Now, in addition to the hotel side, Mark, you're also adding meeting space here with the Meadowview Executive Conference Wing, and it's so exciting. Highlight that part of it for
Bob,
us.
it is phenomenal. Yeah. We are getting ready to start in March of this year, 2009, with an executive conference center, about 30,000 square feet over there, dedicated space. It'll have a 5,400 square foot ballroom on the 2nd floor, and the 1st floor will have actually a couple of three executive boardrooms. It will have 2 amphitheaters. One will have about 150, one will be 60 people, I believe. And those will be dedicated to executive meeting planners and training sessions, hopefully. I think the key for 2009 will be training here in this hotel.
And like everything else here at Meadowview, it's very upscale, very first class, the executive conference.
Oh, absolutely, Bob. We are going to have, it'll be top shelf on the inside, and this will be catered to those executive board retreats and so forth, as I mentioned. The training piece will play a role in that. It'll be state-of-the-art center over there. Everything in it will be, obviously, the very first class. It'll also have a parking deck, a covered parking deck adjacent to it, will allow people easy access and allow people to enter the restaurant from that side of the building.
Which will be nice.
Absolutely. Now, Meadowview's just had another record year in terms of revenue, and this $30 million expansion, as we just said, is great news for Kingsport because it's an investment. More revenue dollars expected to come in. What's this new expansion going to allow you to do here at Meadowview that you can't right now?
Bob, it's all about economic impact. Over the last 12 years, we've generated over $120 million of economic impact revenues. Going forward with the 305 rooms and additional meeting space that we'll have, we'll be able to attract larger groups. Right now, the hotel has been originally designed for meetings of 80 to 100 people. And now we're talking about peak room nights, 250 to 300 room nights. So you can just imagine having a group that has 900 room nights in a week staying here in Kingsport that otherwise would not come to Kingsport if we didn't have that center.
Well, and in addition to the impact that you're having on Kingsport, you also support the Chamber in a number of various ways. And we can't let you be on the show without talking about Kingsport's social event of the year, which, of course, Meadowview is going to be hosting. And I think it's the Kingsport Chamber, is it the 62nd?
It's some sort of meal. I can't remember.
Like an annual dinner or something like that? Does
you
that
know what?
sound
I
familiar?
believe we are having that. I think it's Friday, February 6th. It is the largest, not only in the state, but I believe it's been coined, the phrase, and Bob or Laura coined, I believe it's the largest in the galaxy.
Yes.
Over 1,200.
I had it in the nation. Laura took it beyond that.
It's kind of like the fish that Bob caught. Was it really? It's about 1,500 people, I think, this year. We're looking forward to it. It's a great meal, and I know we're going to do a segment today with our executive chef, who will be your executive chef for the Chamber dinner, and we're looking forward to hosting that event. And we'll have over 100 people actually working that event, and we'll obviously attend that event because my wife loves to come to the annual Chamber dinner.
Sure.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be another big night. We appreciate you hosting. Of course, you all do a great job that night. You do a great job year-round. Meadowview truly has an international reputation for excellence on so many different levels, but especially, Mark, customer service, as Laura just highlighted a little bit ago. Once again, the Meadowview Marriott here in Kingsport is the #1 Marriott in all the world in terms of customer service. But you also won several other awards last year from guests. Tell
Bob,
us
we
about
have.
that.
I don't want to blush. We talk about that. But we've had. Well, first of all, it's all about. It's not so much just about the bricks and mortar, which we talked about. It's all about the associates, the human resource side of it that's in the building here. We have approximately 200 associates that work in this building, kind of on a full-time basis. And it is all about them. We have won guest satisfaction, as you know, for several years, but we've also won the Top Operations Award for the company, which is it's a third party called Steritech. They're a large auditing company, and it's a rather large audit, several days, black light in guest rooms and so forth. And you can kind of see not only that it's well maintained and service very clean, but we have excellent staff here. We are currently at 90.5% overall satisfaction. We've had over 1,000 surveys for the year. And I would like to say that we're going to win, but the jury's still out. There's going to have the year's obviously ended, but they'll allow 2 or 3 weeks for these last surveys to trickle in. And I think Friday, January 23rd is the day. So I'll let you know.
So there's still time for us to step the ballot.
Absolutely. Well, I don't want to say that, but I'll get those surveys to you right away. And we'll be able maybe to talk a little bit about that during the Chamber event. We would love to be able to share that success with our community, my hometown.
I'd say the Meadowview name will come up a time or two during that.
A few times.
I bet.
A few times. And on our show.
Oh, absolutely. Mark, if people want more information on Meadowview or wanted to book their next big party or event here, where can they find you?
Well, the number is obviously 423-578-6600. And you can walk in if you'd like. Any of our salespeople would be more than glad to help you. Or you can go to MeadowviewResort.com and look at us online. We've got all our new pictures. Everything's been updated. You know, obviously we're soliciting more meeting planners, but if the local folks have any type of needs, we'd be more than happy to fulfill them.
That's great.
All righty. Mark Eversole with the Meadowview Marriott Conference Resort and Convention Center. Thanks for hosting your Kingsport Chamber Zone today, and congrats on another great year and all the expansion and wonderful news happening here at Meadowview.
Bob, it's my pleasure.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. Speaking of the Chamber's annual dinner, we're going to have Jack Dempsey, the chair of that event, on the show right after this. Welcome back to this edition of the Kingsport Chamber Zone, coming to you on location from the host site of the Kingsport Chamber's 62nd annual dinner, the Meadowview Marriott Conference Resort and Convention Center.
We've said that a number of times on this show.
It rolls right off the tongue.
And speaking of the big event, here now to give us a tease and preview of the big show is the man totally responsible for everything that happens that night, good or bad. I'm speaking, of course, of Jack Dempsey, who is chair of your Kingsport Chamber annual dinner. Jack is also the president and and General Manager of WJHL News Channel 11, and now back for his 10th straight year as Chair of the Kingsport Chamber Annual Dinner, and News Channel 11 is back for its 10th year as host of the event. Jack, as always, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. And
Is
thank
this
you
what
for having me.
happens whenever you've been with Bob for 10 years? He all of a sudden starts putting everything on your shoulders. You get the good, you get the bad. You have to take all responsibility?
Yes, that along with a lot of gray hair.
No, I blamed him for everything the first year, too. That's one thing that hadn't changed.
Sorry.
But, Jack, it has been 10 great years. It's been 10 fun years working with you on this event as chair and News Channel 11 as host. So what does this event mean? Before we talk about the event, what does it mean not only for the Kingsport community, but for you and your great team at News Channel 11?
I think more importantly, though, why do you keep coming back to work with Bob?
Yeah, what's wrong with
That's
you?
what I want to know.
The money is just too much. You can't pass it up. No, that's a joke.
That's why she works on this show.
I think for our group, we see this as the first big event of the year for the gang at the station, and it's grown to such a state now that I think it's bigger than just a Kingsport event. I think it's a regional event. I don't know where you can get more decision makers and movers and shakers in one room than you will that night at the annual dinner. And I think people will keep coming back because there's always that element of, well, what are they going to do this time? Every year we have a great event, and every year, thanks, I have to give him credit.
He does deserve it.
In large part to Bob, it just keeps getting better. And I think people want to come anticipating another great big show.
Of course, we like to promote it as being the largest chamber dinner in the galaxy. We don't limit it to the region. We don't limit it to the state. We just go ahead and put it out there for what it is, the galaxy.
Yes.
And every year, just as you said, people just keep coming back to it. The crowds are if they're not steady, they grow.
Exactly.
And people have just such a great time. Why do you think it's so much fun for everyone?
Well, again, I think first of all, the main reason I think is the entertainment has been so spectacular. I can't recall in the last 9 years that we've been involved, one evening where the entertainment wasn't just stellar. And I think this year it's going to be even better. So once again, kudos to you, Bob, for the group that we have coming in. Secondly, I don't know, I've been all over the country. I don't know any place that puts on a better meal than the Meadowview. It's always top quality. So the whole evening is just a great evening to kick off a year for the region, and particularly for Kingsport.
It's a great night, too. It's a Friday night in February. It's cold. People like to get dressed up. And as you mentioned, it's a great night to socialize and see tons of people, Jack, and just have fun with your friends and colleagues.
Exactly. You know, the group, the people that I know and travel with, it's well, what are you doing this year at the annual dinner? Of course, I won't tell them. I always keep it a secret. But it's something that everybody looks forward to.
One thing you can talk about, which you just highlighted, is the entertainment. It's always the big draw, the big attraction. What is the entertainment for this year's Kingsport Chamber Annual Dinner?
This year we are bringing the Beatles to Kingsport. The group, known as the Fab Four, are probably the best known and most highly recognized Beatles impersonators anywhere in the world. And, of course, Laura, you're not in my demo. Bob, you might be getting close. But I would ask
I've heard of the Beatles, yes.
I would ask all of our viewers, those who were around or who were young in 1964, to go back to that night when the Beatles first came on the Ed Sullivan Show. It was a night unlike any I remember in television. And I think this young group is going to bring that very kind of excitement and electricity to the Meadowview here on February 6th. I'm really excited. I think they're going to put on just a stellar show.
And for all those people out there who want to come catch this stellar show, it's an opportunity for them to get dressed up, to come see this wonderful entertainment, to hear about all of the wonderful things that happen not only in Kingsport but also in the region. Where can they get those tickets, and how much are they?
They can get those tickets at the Kingsport Chamber on Main Street. They can call 392-8800. The tickets are $70 a piece, and I'd like to add, in addition to everything that Laura mentioned, you're going to get a world-class meal. It's just absolutely delicious.
You get to preview it here in just a
Yeah,
minute.
it's an evening you won't forget.
Yeah.
We should also mention all those funds. It's a big fundraiser for the Kingsport Chamber, so all those proceeds are very important to the Kingsport Chamber and what it does for this community as well.
Well, it funds the show.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no chamber zone without the annual dinner.
Jack, speaking of funding, this night would not be possible without the great team at News Channel 11. All the other Kingsport chamber members that support the event. Tell us about some of the big sponsors for the night.
Well, as you mentioned, this is our 10th year as a host sponsor. Title sponsor will be Eastman Chemical Company. Entertainment sponsor will be Holston Valley Medical Center. The concert hall and stage sponsor will be Eastman Credit Union. Associate sponsor, new this year, will be Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yep.
And then our reception sponsor will be Oak Hill Memorial Park Funerals and Cremations. So it rounds out a great group of people who are as dedicated to the annual dinner as you all are.
Guaranteed an exciting time when you get the funeral home to be a reception sponsor.
That's right. I've always said it's special when you have both the hospital and the funeral home partnering together on an event. You know, it makes it very unique. So you don't see that often. Well, Jack Dempsey with News Channel 11, once again, thank you and your great team at News Channel 11 for putting together another great Kingsport Chamber annual dinner. It promises to be another fun and entertaining evening. And thanks for joining us today on your Kingsport Chamber Zone.
Thank you for having me.
You certainly deserve a lot of recognition for your support of the Kingsport Chamber. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And as I mentioned just a second ago, it's time for us to preview the wonderful meal that will be served at the Kingsport Chamber 62nd Annual Dinner. So we are headed to the Meadows Restaurant and Chef Rob Sagenza, who's going to tell us all about the meal and cook it for us so we get to taste it too. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to your Kingsport Chamber Zone on location at the Meadowview Marriott Conference Resort and Convention Center. It's our big Kingsport Chamber annual dinner preview show. And Laura and I have now moved to one of our favorite places, perhaps our favorite place.
My favorite place.
Here at Meadowview, the Meadows Restaurant.
Our favorite place and our favorite guest. Because whenever Chef Rob Sagenza is around, that means we're getting fed, and we're getting fed really well. Of course, Chef Rob is the executive chef here at the Meadowview Marriott Conference Resort and Convention Center, and he is the man behind that fabulous food that you get each year at the annual dinner. Chef Rob, thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, thank you for having me, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as
We're
well.
very excited about this year's chamber dinner.
Tell us all about it. Tell us what we're going to start out with. What's the salad that we're going to have that night?
You're going to have our Meadowview Classic salad with some field greens, tomatoes, carrots, cucumbers, choice dressings. And then you'll move on to a pork porterhouse dinner, which we're going to serve with a blueberry barbecue sauce, sauteed green beans, and Idaho mashed potatoes.
And of course, the
papaya
raisin relish too.
Papaya raisin relish to finish it. Exactly.
I don't think we need to do anything else.
No.
Thanks for watching the show. We're going to go eat. No, seriously, sorry. All right, Chef Rob, so why don't you go ahead and get started? What do you need to do?
Let me get started. First, we're going to saute a little bit of your green beans, a little bit of olive oil. While we're getting that pan hot, we're going to start the barbecue sauce.
And you mentioned this is a blueberry barbecue sauce.
It is. A little bit of barbecue sauce, and then some fresh blueberries. Lots of them.
The meal always tastes great, but for some reason it always tastes better just to watch it prepare.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but...
So we'll let this go, and hopefully some of our blueberries will burst a little bit in our sauce and infuse the flavors. That's what we're looking for. And it'll thin out the sauce a little bit. Meanwhile, over here, we'll go in with our green beans.
Yeah, Chef, I'm always amazed at the creativity you have whenever you put these meals together. Can I ask, what's the inspiration for a barbecue sauce that has blueberries in it? Because that's not a combination that would readily come to mind.
Well, the idea was to take a barbecue sauce and pork goes hand in hand.
Sure.
And then the whole idea was to what can we do to make it unique? And I think everybody knows fruit, apricots, berries, apples go great with pork.
Right.
So we wanted to make something unique at Meadowview. We figured, why not do a blueberry barbecue sauce?
It's a great idea. I'm all in.
Your signature dishes are always wonderful.
Yes.
Very creative, and the presentation always looks great as well, Chef.
A little bit of salt and pepper. And then we just want to quick saute these, get them hot, get them seasoned and flavored, stay true to the color of the green bean.
Right. Just a little bit of salt that you're adding to it?
Yep.
Okay.
Very little. bring this up to temperature.
Bob, stick your finger in there and see if it's hot.
Let me see if it's ready. Yeah. Let me do that. I know it's here for a reason.
And Chef, the pork porterhouse that you're going to be serving, that's a 12-ounce cut, right?
It is a 12-ounce cut, and the beauty about the pork porterhouse is that you get pork loin as well as the pork tenderloin. It's half and half, as opposed to last year when we served the French pork chop, it was just the pork loin.
Okay.
So here you get the pork loin and the more tender tenderloin.
That was a very popular dish. Every year it's a great meal at the annual dinner, but people have requested that pork chop again, so we're glad we're getting a new and different one this year.
Yeah, this is just a spin on that one.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so we're good and hot here, ready to go. We'll let that go for a second.
And then for those, Chef, who may not eat meat or eat pork, then you're also, as always, going to offer a vegetarian option for the annual dinner.
We are going to do our signature vegetable strudel.
Yum.
Extremely popular.
And delicious.
Exactly.
Oh, it's so good.
We don't put the vegetable strudel, the veg plate is never an afterthought.
Sure.
Okay, so let me plate this up. We'll put a little bit.
He's getting my plate ready, Laura. I see.
Your
the
plate.
mashed
You're going
potatoes.
to have to race me to it if you plan to lay claim to that one.
Some of your green beans.
Chef, I've always found it amazing that you all can serve and keep hot 1,500 plates of food at the annual dinner. You've really got a great team here. to make that
Yes, we
happen.
do. We do. And we love doing that. We love the challenge. And we thank you for having it here.
And Chef, it's not just at the annual dinner where people can get your great cuisine. You offer several different theme nights here at the Meadows Restaurant. I understand you've got a new one on Tuesday nights, your prime rib theme night.
We do. Tuesday night, we do a great prime rib night. Salad, your prime rib, plus your baked potato, vegetable, and strawberry shortcake for $19.95.
What a great
It's
deal.
a complete meal.
And then, of course, you have your famous seafood buffet that you continue to have on Friday night.
Yes, very, very popular. Okay, and then let me take my porterhouse.
Look at
Place it
that.
right on here.
Yum.
And then finish it with a little bit of the papaya raisin relish.
The annual dinner is worth coming to just for the meal alone. I mean, the entertainment's great, but
Sure.
And that's
it's
it.
incredible.
Wow. And of course, if people don't just fill themselves on the salad and the main course, you're also going to offer just a wonderful dessert that night.
Yes, we
Let's
are
show the
doing
Kentucky
a
silk
Kentucky
pie.
silk
In
pie.
fact, right here.
Let me grab that for you.
And I have already sampled that, and it is extraordinary.
Well,
Yes.
good. That's my piece then.
So there's two of your dishes for the evening, not counting your salad.
Looks
Right.
fabulous.
That's incredible, Chef. Now, there's also a lot going on here at the Meadows, in addition to your great signature nights of various foods. You're expanding here as part of the overall Meadowview expansion. Tell us a little bit
We
about
are
that.
very excited and very fortunate to have that expansion. Above and beyond the room addition that we're doing, we're adding some new meeting space, state of the art. It's going to allow access directly into the restaurant, so folks won't have to walk from the front of the hotel. Some folks, I think it's a hike to the restaurant, so we're trying to fix that by putting a parking garage and an entrance in the back over here. So
And then you also have additional seating space here in the restaurant with that expansion
yes,
too.
absolutely, and I think we'll go out into the courtyard a little bit.
Great. And if people want to make reservations, which I think are recommended to come here and eat, what's the number they need to call for the restaurant?
578-6632.
Great.
578-6632. Well, Chef Rob Seguenza with the Meadows Restaurant here at the Meadowview Marriott. Thank you for joining us today and preparing what promises to be another great dish.
Well, thanks
for
for having us.
annual dinner.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Laura's taking it and going home.
We'll be
I
back after this.
And we want to thank you for joining us on this edition of your King Sport Chambers on the first show for 2009. What a way to start. We want to thank the great team here at the Meadowview Marriott Conference Resort and Convention Center for hosting us today. And as always, the absolutely outstanding team at Charter Media for producing our show.
We also want to thank our other show sponsors, Eastman Chemical Company, Eastman Credit Union, and of course the Meadowview Marriott Conference Resort and Convention Center.
And of course, your law firm of Hunter, Smith, and Davis.
Don't forget, the Kingsport Chambers 62nd Annual Dinner is coming up on Friday, February the 6th. Tickets are only $70, and you can get them by calling the Kingsport Chamber of Commerce at 392-8800.
As always, look forward to seeing you at that fun event, and look forward to seeing you on our next Kingsport Chamber Zone. And for all of us with your Kingsport Chamber Zone, we are Bob and Laura reminding you to please be loyal
And buy local. Have a great week.